I'm Karim Jabir. I'm a high school student in Lebanon. I live in Lebanon. And I consider myself as a really dedicated person and a really committed person towards changing the world in a way. If I ever get my hands into any kind of opportunity to change the world, of course, to the better.
My name is Ella Malhotra Gregory. I'm based in London in the United Kingdom. And currently I work with States of Mind, looking at young people's well-being, specifically in a school environment. I'm a very fierce peace advocate and very keen on how our planetary and people's well-being is intertwined and interconnected.
Myself, Ariba Hafiz. I'm from India. My religion is Islam. I'm currently pursuing BSc undergraduate at Indian Academy Degree College and also doing my additional course in life skill development at Dream a Dream.
We thought that the main things that have supported and are still supporting children and adolescents are virtual activities like lectures, sessions, webinars, fun meet and greets, and working on organizations which help adolescents feel like they were doing productive things, helping them avoid depression and anxiety. And I was one of those people as I was working in a non-governmental organization that was helping people despite the circumstances. We were actually helping the people through these circumstances, even though my country, Lebanon, is going through hard stuff, difficult stuff recently, and even before for like 2 years, yet we drew a smile on people's faces, which grew joy in our hearts. However, for children, they have been using their time mostly playing games and spending time with their family. And some families have made family nights, which help the parents and the children to have more quality time with each other and spend their time efficiently together. So, family basically strengthened the bond together because of this, especially the parents, the married ones that used to go to work, and the children that don't see their father during the day. They've made some sort of connection with them more and more, which is really heart touching, seeing them more happy and like um, coping through these circumstances just because of their family, which was very nice.
Yes, so I see a lot of similarities in what Karam just said. And one of the key things that we found that supported young people, which was a sense of community. And I think that's what we find in working with an organization or spending time with our family or being a part of something online as well. It's a sense of community on a local and even on a global level, a sense that we were all being affected by the same thing in very different ways, but that there was a unity that united all of us. And I think that mirrored with and kind of alongside personal practices was what we heard really supported young people, that there were individual actions that we could take. And also what was really, really interesting was that not being in school was a big thing for a lot of people in the listening groups, that cancellation of school helped them to have the space and the time to find their passions and look deeper into themselves. And personally, it really kickstarted a deep inquiry into who I was and what I want to do in the world and what I want my place to be. And so having that space come out of something like a lockdown or a quarantine was actually quite incredible. And I think something that really we found supported a lot of young people.
As we all know that in India, a very bad situation have happened due to this COVID, that we are not finding beds for no oxygen, no cylinder, no oxygen and no proper injections, remedies. And then we should spread the awareness, ma'am, of COVID. This is the main step. We should support people by spreading the awareness. Yeah, ma'am, and should be generous and kind to other.
I think I could speak about this for a long time, but I think there were a few key insights that really came out of the listening groups. And that was that learning does not need to be formal and rigid to be effective. And that was what I think a lot of young people realized through having this space. I know that I discovered a real passion for learning on my own and within a community that I didn't necessarily have throughout all my time at school, because there was no pressure, there were no exams, and there were no grades. And this learning through reality, learning through experience was incredible and really helpful. I think when I think about what kind of my ideal schooling system would look like, I think it would have space in it to reflect, space in it to learn, not just through memorizing, not just through rote, but through dialogue and through contemplation and reflection. And I think this could feed into how the school itself was run and how the system itself worked. I think a community feel and a creativity at the heart of everything that is done is really important to me. And I think what really strikes me is that a lot of schools say this. They have this in their mission statements. They talk about these as values, but sometimes the reality doesn't quite live up to the ideals, because learning is a beautiful thing. And I think there's been a disassociation from learning in school. I think we can merge the two back together. I think it can be a relaxed, loving, and relational place where community is emphasized and relationships are important. And knowing yourself is a skill to be developed within that environment too. I think school provides a really unique space for young people to collaborate and engage in a process of self-inquiry that isn't always easy. And I think that right now it's not that, but it has this massive, incredible potential to be. I think there's also something about autonomy that's really important to me that has come out during this pandemic. Having a little bit more choice of how to spend our time, obviously within quite severe constraints, has been really key for a lot of young people in maintaining well-being. And that kind of person-centered, process-oriented learning could really, really support that and go along very nicely. I think, the key things were a teaching that embodies love and creativity, treatment of students that is involving autonomy and diversity, and changing to the way we test students.
Firstly, in this situation, ma'am, they should reduce the fees, as most of them are facing financial problem. In India, education only focuses on studies, ma'am, but now they even have to focus well on the mental, social, and physical health if the kid or a student. And cleanliness is half of our iman. That's the most important factor in health. By now, they have to understand the importance of health in a student and a healthy environment. Hopefully, they work and make it better for future. As of now, everyone are attending online class 6 to 7 hours per day is not at all good for health, ma'am. So they should keep only 4 hours classes, in which one class should be activity, yoga, exercise, and also they should motivate the students. They should stop judging students on the basis of marks and grades, ignoring the overall performance of the student.
So first of all, as Ella said, education is a beautiful thing. Knowledge in general, it is a beautiful thing. Even the philosopher himself said, Socrates said, the only thing that I know is that I don't nothing. This is us. People don't know anything. Knowledge it never stops. Learning never stops. It's what keeps us alive. Adaptation, change, character development. It's what keeps us alive. Schools, whenever we go back to school, they would teach more about psychology, mental health, how to treat anxiety, how to treat depression, how to treat stress. Because in our country, we can't sleep without being worried, you know. So it is really frustrating, and I myself as a teenager, I can't still control my emotions as most adults can. So I find it very difficult for me and my friends, of course, who are going through way much harder circumstances, would find it more difficult than I am. So that's all. And I hope that there would be a miracle or any sort of like I don't know, yeah, a miracle. I don't know what else to call it. That would actually help us and help the children and help the elders here and help everyone. And this new generation, the teenagers nowadays and the kids would grow up and find and like change everything to the better instead of making it more worse than it already is, because we are the future. We are the generation that might save ourselves and save the world entire. Yes.
They should set a routine, like on time to time they should do yoga, on time to time they should finish their work, and they should get enough of sleep, because as they won't take at least 8 hours sleep, ma'am. They're very late. They go to bed at 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and wake up at 12 noon, 1 noon. So they should change this. So my vision is to change the routine.
Well-being, it all comes from the mind and the heart. When a person has a calm mind, they're living peacefully, they have a country that cares about them, that's first. When they know that they have a very caring family and a strong bond with their family, somebody to look up to. Whenever they have any sort of issue, they have someone to open up to. That this is part an aspect of having good well-being. The heart is when the person is kind-hearted, when you expect to get back what you give, and sometimes expect to not get back what you give, because when you're not when because some people uh, don't give you sentimental things. They could give you a smile, and that would only draw a smile on your face as well, and it would make you happy. Well-being is basically just being living in a peaceful world and giving to the people, like offering to the people some good qualities about you, giving all what's kind, all what's good, all what's peaceful, nothing bad from you. And they would give you the same reaction back, because in the end the world is a reflection of what you are. That's how it works. So this is the definition of well-being. It doesn't only stick with the routine. The routine is you waking up as the same person that you were yesterday, but yet a better version of yourself that you were last week.
I'm not sure I can say it any better. That was basically everything I was going to say, but please. I agree. I think there are many dimensions to well-being, but I also think sometimes here and here. That's what it is so much for me. It's about the heart, and it's about love, and it's about feeling loved and feeling like you have the capacity to love, and recognizing that, as cheesy as it sounds, love is what binds everything together and the way that the world works. We need people to take care of us, and those relationships that are loving and based on mutual giving and receiving. And I think that then on top of that, there's something about fitting into a bigger picture, something about feeling like you are part of something that really matters, feeling like there is a purpose and a reason. And then, so essentially, yeah, and that carrying that inner peace that underneath everything is unshakable, that the world could feel like it was collapsing around you, and really deep down, you know that you'll be okay. That's what thriving is for me. And that's what, for me, well-being is a component of.
So my first thing will be government schools, ma'am. They should develop like good teachers. They should keep in government schools. Like in private schools, we have well qualified teachers, but whereas in government schools, ma'am, well qualified teachers are not there. And second, as come to the teachers, no, ma'am, they must help students to understand the concept instead of marking up the whole subject. They should not judge by their marks and grades, ignoring the overall performance of the student. They should encourage the students. They should concentrate more on skill development.
First things first, and to start with in my country, is to change the educational system in a whole, because it's been the same since the Civil War, since like 30 years. We've been and learning the same content year over year with no new anything. There's nothing new. And like we're being taught, for example, civics, talking about rights and all, yet we don't apply them in our daily lives. How does that work? Second of all, is that for the government, if there is any good government, to actually help the public schools, because the private schools, for example, are being very much more privileged, whether it be in scholarships, whether it be in tests, whether it be in basic materials, for example, the building or the copybooks, the pencils, the pens. uh, it all depends not in the schools, it depends on the country as a whole, in the rulers as a whole, as a government. They're the ones that need to change, because we have nothing to change, not money, not a voice. Our voice can't be heard. We protested, we did everything that we could do as people, as united people, yet nothing happened. It didn't work, and we are considered as weak people that need help.
Yeah, I think it's hard, isn't it? Because it's easy to talk about the values that I would like to see embodied, but three concrete physical kind of asks. I think my first one would be including young people much more in processes. I think involving young people as humans in the process. That would be my first thing. My second thing, and I'm going to try and translate this into a concrete ask, is to involve love in all steps of the process. And I think school has a chance to teach that and a chance to embody this beautifully spiritual, rich way of seeing life. And I don't think that means we need to be a faith school or teach a certain religion. It's just simply provoking and just placing that seed there for young people to then explore. And I think my third concrete ask would be space. It would be to have space to reflect, whether that be that lessons in terms of learning are 10 minutes shorter, and there is just 10 minutes at the end of the session where everybody just simply sits and thinks about what they have learned.